So, you want to be an animator? Firstly, hi, I'm Dominic. I'm a uni graduate, still looking for jobs. Yay, job market. I just wanted to put this video out there, basically, for people who, like my younger self, who want to do animation but have no idea where to start. There's loads of different tutorials, there's loads of different videos about it, but I just wanted to make a guide to basically see what you want to do, see if anything vibes with you. I'm not a nerd, as you can see behind me. It's all a green screen. I wish. Fucking so stupid. But first things first, if you want to become an animator, is get this book, The Animator's Survival Kit. It is very useful with all the basics and everything you will need to become an animator. This is either 3D or 2D, both. It goes over loads of different stuff. You can find this on Amazon or anywhere, or go to charities or whatever. It's very, very good. Another one you can get, which I don't have at the moment, but I want, is Acting for Animators by Ed Hooks. He is a 40-year-long industry animator. He's been doing a lot, and he's since the early 2000s he's been creating this book for Acting for Animators, which I highly recommend. That's why I'm going to get it, and it seems quite useful. Anyway, for people who have no idea what they want to do or anything, here's the basics: 3D and 2D. So, what is 3D and 2D? Well, the similarities, the way you animate with them, like in terms of course, one's drawing and one's basically figure posing. That's the one I do. I'm not really a specialist. I'm a graduate, but of 3D. So yeah, the similarities of each is basically the way you animate. You have keyframes. You have your main keyframe with your pose, and you basically go into another pose, and you do an in-betweens. That is the gist. That is, you go faster, you go shorter. This book explains it. You watch videos explaining it. I don't want to go into details because it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. The differences. Well, firstly, 2D, you got drawing. You have to you draw. You have is different program, though you can use the same program, Blender. Technically, it does work. And you have 3D, which is just you got the figures and you move them, and then that creates the animation. Yippee! But you have to also do lighting. You have to do all different things. Camera. I mean, you have to do it with both. There is a similarity between both, but in 3D it's easier because you have a 3D space. Where 2D you have to get it perfect, but people like that. You have a lot more. The way I see it, 2D you have a lot more creativity. You can do whatever you want because you are drawing it. You are creating everything. With 3D, it's more logical. You have a 3D space, and even though it looks more freedom-y, depending on what you want to do, it's either going to be easier or harder. Easier in the sense of if you just want to do a simple walk, for example, or whatever. Which I do not recommend starting with. Again, book. So, hardware. What do you need to do 3D or 2D? So, hardware for if you're doing 2D, you need a PC. It needs to be kind of powerful, but it doesn't need to be like overly powerful. If you get what I mean. Like, it depends if you want to do different layers. They need a different amount of RAM. If you want to do some effects, you need CPU or GPU, and that's a whole thing. For 3D though, I would say try and get the best PC you possibly can. For 2D as well, you need a drawing tablet. That is very useful. You can either look at, if you want to spend a lot, you can look up. If you want a more budget version, there's XP Pen, Huion, and I believe there's some others, but I don't know the full names of them. Anyway, those are the ones that I recommend. They seem to be reliable and yeah, Wacom best, Huion XP Pen, very good, just not that. Software. If you're doing 2D, there are different ones. If you want to do more puppetry, there's like Moho. Blender's still quite good. If you want to do more traditional, there's Clip Studio Paint. If you want to do 3D, the industry standard is Maya. That's the one. If you go into education or businesses, whatever, probably going to use that. But I don't like it. I think it's quite poo. I think it's very old and like stuck in its ways, like an old person. Basically, anyone who in Congress. There you go. Then you have the one I prefer, Blender. It's free. It's the only one on this list that's free. I will, in the description, I'll put down everything with the prices and all that stuff. You want to look at them because I don't know them off the top of my head. But Blender is the one you want to go with. It can do 2D and 3D. And if you want to do 2D and 3D, use that as well. It is very good for that because you got the open space and all that stuff. There's been quite a few things animated in Blender now. I know there was one of the major fights of Black Clover was done in Blender, which is pretty cool. And I know there's a whole movie, which I recommend watching, title on screen now. Anyway, yeah, Blender, very, very good, very powerful. But it does have its limitations. It's basically a jack of all trades, master of... It does everything really well. Like if I use it primarily, it is you can do it from start to finish, everything. It has some scripts you can write in. You can, if you know code, you can write in Python. I don't know code. I'm trying to learn, but it's difficult. If you like to 3D model, that's a whole other thing with 3D as well. Use Blender Guru. He's a very good one to start with. Now, you have your setup. You know what you want to do. You know if you want to do 2D or 3D so where do you go? Education. It is not necessary. You do not need a degree to get into the industry. I have a degree. I got a first, and I can't find a bloody job. So you don't need it. It helps. It helps you meet people, and it helps you learn the basics. But majority of the work you will do, you're on your own. And the way you will basically improve, again, you're on your own. I recommend looking up animation schools. Basically, it's universities that have animated courses. I went to Nottingham, but you can go to any. It doesn't really matter. Then, that's as far as I have got to. To get into work at the moment, good luck. If you're starting out, if you're like 17, 16, like in your teens pretty much, even like up to 19 or 20, or maybe you're even in university. Maybe it's gonna be okay. Who knows? Everyone seems to be being fired, so no one who's getting in can find a job. However, this is not to say that you can't find a job, and not to say that you shouldn't do animation. Animation is great. You can do so much with it. You can make stories. You can make whole characters real. It is a very, very, very good creative outlet. Even if you don't want to do animation as a full-time thing, I recommend it. It is very, very good. And you can create your own stories. You can write your own stories. You can basically become your own. You can make a little series, which I plan to do at some point. So hopefully that takes place. I don't know. But for work, I would just recommend keep animating. Don't go bankrupt while doing it. Don't like pay for Maya or whatever, and then you go, oh, I have no money. Like, no, just I'd stay away from subscription services if you don't have the money. For 2D, like you have Clip Studio, that's gone into a subscription service now, but I believe you can pay a one-time thing still. It's just you won't get any updates. But Blender, completely open source, completely free, a lot of support. So if you want to use that, I recommend. Moho, that's a one-time fee. Toon Boom, I think it might be subscription, but I'm not too sure. Then you have Maya and all those, and like Adobe stuff. Just don't, if you can't afford it, don't go anywhere near those. You have to pay the arm and a leg for those. I do not recommend. So stay as far away as you can until you have the money. But just keep going. You hear this all the time. It doesn't really mean anything, but basically, the way I've thought about it is just make stuff you want. That's what I plan to do. I plan to stream doing animations at some point. So I'll have my Twitch or in the description, or I might do it on YouTube. Who knows? Who the hell knows? But yeah, just enjoy yourself, really. Even if it's not something you get into, even if you get the degree. Like, I want to get into it, but if I don't, then I'll be sad because I have really cool ideas for what I want to do for shows and movies and stuff. But if it never happens, then at least I have something fun to do. But that is Animating 101. It's really that simple. If you want to get this book, then do it. It's very useful for the basics. If you want to do 2D or 3D, it's really up to you. It depends on what you like. I used to think I want to do 2D, and it's okay to change. For the longest time, I wanted to do 2D. Up until university, I was dead set on for night. Oh my god, it's been almost 9 years. Been 9 years now since I've been wanting to do animation. Jesus, sorry, that just hit me. But yeah, so for basically ever I've wanted to do 2D, and I was drawing constantly. I was doing stuff, and then I joined university and I found out 3D was for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the logical aspect. I enjoyed getting the little action figures and moving them. It's not primarily that, but it's action figures. It's like stop motion. Actually, that's another thing. If you want to get a stop motion, have a workspace. But yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna look back at this video in the future and hate it because I am terrible with on screen. But join me on Twitch, join me on YouTube and stuff, because I want to create stuff. I want to put myself out there. I do get out my comfort zone, do something I'm going to be terrible at for years and years and years until suddenly I'm decent. Hopefully, who knows? Maybe I'm going to shit forever. That's the dream. Anyway, have a good day. If you don't want to get into animation, that's okay too. Enjoy yourself. Just have fun with life. It's not with the way everything is at the moment. Just don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun. You'll do great. I promise. See ya.